Hello all, welcome back to my channel, Moss Crossings. I'm Moss, and I'm here today with another villager home redesign party. This is like one of my favorite things to do on my island now, and I'm like sad that there's only a limited number of houses that I can do this with until I get new villagers, but today we're going to be redesigning Rudy and Benjamin's houses. Rudy is one of my favorite villagers on my island right now. I think that he is adorable. I love the cat villagers, absolutely my favorite species in the game. And I honestly think that Rudy's vibe that he has going here is immaculate, to be honest. I just think that I can like make it a little bit more detailed, a little bit more functional, just sort of like take what he already had there and just like dial it up to 11 kind of. And you know, Rudy's a jock, so of course he needs his protein shakes. This train set that Rudy had in his original design is so large and not functional, and it's really hard to incorporate into such a small space, but I had to use it because, like, if the boy likes trains, he's getting trains, all right? Perhaps due to the fact that I used a large bed in this build and the train set, which is also quite large, I had a lot of trouble figuring out how to orient the table and chairs in the tiny little like dining area that I've set up here. I initially had these baseball glove chairs that he had in his original design, but obviously he can't sit in those because they're closed on the sides. So I put one of those by the bed as just sort of a little place for, I don't know why you would have a chair right next to your bed. It makes sense to me. But yeah, I decided to use these simple chairs instead. I gave it a puzzle piece pattern, even though that wasn't really incorporated in his original design, just because the vivid wooden block radio reminded me of that, and just sort of the playroom wall. He had a general vibe of like playful, childlike kind of energy, which I do enjoy working with, so I decided to lean into that a little bit. I didn't really do like aesthetic kind of final shots of these builds in this video, but here's a quick little walkthrough in real time so you can see how everything kind of turned out. Of course, now it's time to move on to another extremely good boy, Benjamin. I'm not 100% sure that I'm like keeping Benjamin on my island permanently. I really like him right now, but I'm not like completely attached to him. But I decided to go ahead and remodel his house anyway, one for my upcoming incomplete dream address release and also just for fun, you know. I kept the style that his house was in. I just changed up the colors of it a little bit. I made it sort of all over brown and changed the door, I think. And I gave him a little fruit wreath because his original interior design is like sort of a school. And I thought the fruit reminded me of like giving a teacher an apple or whatever. I just thought that was kind of a cute little reference. On the inside, I also decided to keep the school theme and just, like I said with Rudy, keep the theme, keep the wallpaper and flooring, keep a lot of the same items, and just make it a little bit more of itself, I guess. So I am adding some bookcases here, and I'm gonna have like a teacher's desk, and I could only fit 2 student desks in this space, which was, I think, what he originally had also. And I did decide to sort of separate out a tiny, tiny little sliver of space for like a little tiny studio apartment area. So it's like a school in one part and then the little apartment in the other part. You'll be seeing that just a little bit later on in the video. I really wanted to include this TV because this type of TV really reminds me of like when you would have a substitute teacher and they would like roll in this huge CRT TV on a cart and you would get to like watch a movie in class, and it was usually some sort of like super old educational video or whatever, but like you didn't have to do anything for that class period and it was just like a nice little time. Yeah, just a little early 2000s childhood memory for y'all. Even though it was definitely a challenge for me, I actually really enjoyed working in this tiny, tiny little space and trying to make it somewhat functional. It's not something that I usually challenge myself to do. I think this is the first time I've ever used a partition wall in a villager home, like on my island. I don't even use them that much in HHP, to be honest. They kind of intimidate me. I feel like people have just shown such genius with the way that they use the partition walls and the pillars and stuff, and I'm just not that person. But I actually really like what I've done here. I think it's really cute. Even though there's not a lot of floor space, obviously, I still think it's functional and like just kind of cool. I don't know. And here's the final little walkthrough, just sort of going through, making sure all of the items are usable and all the chairs are sittable. I really hope that y'all enjoyed this video, and stay tuned for many more like it coming soon. And I hope y'all have a great day. Bye-bye.